I'm Emma Dweck. I'm an acupuncturist, and this video is part of the work that I've been doing to sort of help people understand how to take care of themselves during the COVID-19 crisis, which, as you know, is a ridiculously difficult time. I hope you're doing okay today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the fall, and as you may know from my previous videos and writings, Chinese medicine talks a lot about seasonal resonances and how to be healthy by living in harmony with the seasons. So each season has an organ system, or actually two organ systems, that are sort of most potent, most affected, and strongest during the season. And the organs that are the fall organs are the lung and the large intestine. And the emotion associated with those organs is grief. So if you think about nature, everything is dying, and it is a time of loss and a time of reflection. So when you lose something, you understand how you value it, right? Joni Mitchell, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. So, and as of course you may know from just being a human, our society doesn't have a lot of tools for dealing with grief and loss. And I think that that is particularly difficult for people during COVID, because there's a very, very real grief, grief of loved ones, perhaps who have passed, but also a grief of an old way of doing things that is actually gone, and we're not going back to normal, right? And so it's really, really hard. It's unbelievably hard to accept and then figure out how to integrate this into your life, right? And so when COVID was we were understanding how serious it was, I wrote a blog about grief and the lungs. But today I actually want to talk about the large intestine, the colon, which is the sister organ to the lungs and doesn't get as much attention in Chinese medicine, but is extraordinarily important. So what does the colon, the large intestine, what does it do? It gets rid of waste. It gets rid of the shit literally from our bodies on a physical level. Obviously, we need it, like it's essential. If we didn't have one, we would probably perish pretty quickly because the toxins would accumulate in our body. But also there's a mental and emotional component to the large intestine, which is that if we don't appropriately let go of things and identify the toxins in our lives and in our society, we won't be able to function well, right? So I just wanted to talk about that in terms of what's going on now, because I think that it's really, really hard to identify, especially when you're, a full-time working parent with kids and, just all of the stressors that people have right now. It's hard to identify like what's truly toxic and what truly needs to be let go of. But I think that if we can understand that, especially during the fall, it's really great to be identifying what's toxic and letting go of what's toxic, we might feel better. And the other thing that I wanted to say is about death. So I talked about grief a little bit, and the fall, as you know, everything is dying. And there's something that some spiritual traditions talk about, which is like a spiritual death. And I think that if we can look at, and a spiritual death can be a really beautiful, good thing, right? Things need to die in order for new things to happen. So our society, we've seen that a lot of the old ways of doing things are not working at all, right? COVID has shown an incredibly bright light on that. So the healthcare system is not working at all. The education system is not working at all. The criminal justice system is not working at all. And people are dying because of these things. And so if we can understand that those things need to die in order for us to create something new, we might feel better about it. It might be a relief. We might be able to come back to the lungs, take a big deep breath and say, okay, let's let go of all of this shit that isn't working. And we're not going back to normal, but let's take what we value from what used to work and figure out the things, you know, that did work, the little things here and there that did work, and create entirely new systems. So I think you can do that on an individual level for yourself. And then I think we can do it all on a broader level, and we have to do it, you know, if our society is going to be at all functional. So that's what I have to say for today about the large intestine, the fall, death. I'm always happy to talk more about this stuff, and I would love to talk more about it. And if you want to talk more about how you specifically might be affected during this season, please reach out, and I'll be back with more. Thanks.